Ellie, let me go to you. You've worked in the Southern District of New York. What is the significance of this being filed there, and can you explain a little bit more about these racketeering charges?
Yeah, Jim. So first of all, this is a federal indictment. It's been filed in the Southern District of New York, which covers Manhattan and the Bronx and some of the northern counties. So this will be a federal prosecution. Generally, federal prosecutions carry higher penalties, higher potential sentences than state prosecutions. And as I'll get to in a moment, that is certainly the case here. So this is a 3-count indictment against Sean Combs. Now, count 1 charges racketeering conspiracy. And the indictment alleges that Sean Combs, along with others who are not charged, but others, ran an enterprise, an operation, essentially a business that engaged in a series of crimes. Here, those crimes relate to sex trafficking. In fact, the indictment names the racketeering enterprise the Combs Enterprise. That's the title that.
That's crazy. The Combs Enterprise. Sounds like a mafia family. Everyone keeps thinking that he's automatically guilty, like just because all these charges they're throwing at him.
All right, Kara and Ellie, let me go to you. You've worked in the Southern District of New York. What is the significance of this being filed there, and can you explain a little bit more about these racketeering charges?
Yeah, Jim. So first of all, this is a federal indictment. It's been filed in the Southern District of New York, which covers Manhattan and the Bronx and some of the northern counties. So this will be a federal prosecution. Generally, federal prosecutions carry higher penalties, higher potential sentences than state prosecutions. And as I'll get to in a moment, that is certainly the case here. So this is a 3-count indictment against Sean Combs. Now, count 1 charges racketeering conspiracy. And the indictment alleges that Sean Combs, along with others who are not charged, but others, ran an enterprise, an operation, essentially a business that engaged in a series of crimes. Here, those crimes relate to sex trafficking. In fact, the indictment names the racketeering enterprise the Combs Enterprise. That's the title that.
That's crazy. The Combs Enterprise. Sounds like a mafia family. Everyone keeps thinking that he's like automatically guilty, like just because of all the videos and all that, and all the charges that are being thrown at him. But remember, this thing needs to play out in court. It's not like right away, like, yeah, we got you and you're just going to jail. Nah, it's not like that.
They gave the enterprise. So that's count 1. Now, count 2 charges sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, meaning that Sean Combs participated in transporting women across state lines for illegal sexual purposes by force or by threats or by intimidation. That is an extraordinarily serious charge.
So basically, what they are saying is on the track by the with the track sex trafficking by force is that by flying these women or driving them, whichever method they use, across different state lines and having them doing things that allegedly they didn't want to do, even though they had them sign, waivers and consent agreements and non-disclosure, it fits into the racketeering because allegedly or basically they are running a business to fund or to keep the sex trafficking going.
The prosecution can prove that. The minimum sentence there, if they convict Sean Combs on that, is 15 years, and the maximum is life. 15-year minimum sentence.
Wow. 15 years to life. Shit.
And then count 3 charges transportation of another individual to engage in prostitution. It's sort of a lesser included of count 2. So we've got a 3-count indictment, racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and then interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution. It's a very serious indictment. These charges are extremely serious. The Southern District of New York does cases like this. They do cases against powerful, famous individuals all the time. And soon Sean Combs will be in court, and he will certainly plead not guilty to this, and then we'll be underway with the proceedings.
That's crazy. I mean, he should plead not guilty. He should. I'm pretty sure his lawyer, like he says there, is telling him to plead not guilty. I mean, I was not expecting a possible life sentence on these charges. I mean, it could be a strategy from the prosecution. So, his team agrees to a plea deal. I might be wrong. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on this one. I just think that the sex trafficking, it's a bit extreme just because he was traveling, to different states to either see these women or taking these women across different state lines and having sex with them in different states. I think it's a bit much, but I mean, hey, they're gonna do whatever they can to nail him with everything that came out, all those videos. Shit, bro, you gotta be careful who you deal with and who you trust.
Yeah, Ali, this is an extremely serious case. And Josh Campbell, let me go to you and see what you think in terms of what stands out to you in this indictment. It sounds as though there was a pretty extensive federal investigation here.
There was indeed. And, it's
Yeah.
interesting. We've been reporting all along based on those original allegations, which law enforcement sources tell us actually spurred this investigation. He was accused of obviously serious crimes, including sex trafficking, including drugging women. And now we're seeing federal investigators actually bring criminal charges. What they allege in this indictment is that, we're all familiar with Sean Combs' media enterprise, but they're essentially saying that his enterprise existed for his own sexual gratification. And you had all of these staff members that were there essentially.
I mean, if you have all the money, why wouldn't you, try to get your pleasure in? Pleasure, vice. I mean, it was more of a vice than anything else.
Assisting him in this effort to include members of his security team, members of his household staff, other employees. And as we look through this indictment, again, that was just unsealed, I want to read you.
Like I said, you need to know who you trust and who you keep around, because I think some of his people were snitching on him already.
One portion which lays out this slew of allegations. They say in this indictment that members and associates of the Combs enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for.
Now, you do know what that means with the intersex transportation, right? This means that all the flights are canceled. What I mean by that is all rappers, celebrities, men in general are going to be very hesitant to fly women, like to come over or for those little trips, getaways, to have sex with, your sugar daddies, all that, boyfriends in different states. All these women looking for free flights. Yeah, you can say goodbye to that. That's gonna be woof. Diddy just messed that up. I mean, not him, but him and his women. Shit, and you gotta think twice when you wanna fly in a honey to get some, because that's gonna be sex trafficking.
Purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So just a litany of charges there. Of course, Combs himself has said all along that he is not guilty. His attorney indicated that he is planning to fight these charges. But you go back and look, this is really interesting, Jim, at how Sean Combs originally responded to these civil suits whenever they came out. They essentially went after the women who were making these allegations. At one point saying, at least one of them was someone who was just looking for a quick payday. That all changed when CNN broke exclusively that footage of Sean Combs in a hotel here in Los Angeles, physically assaulting his former girlfriend. And then we saw his tone.
That looked like the Royal Rumble. Well, not even. It looked like the UFC. And he was kicking this out of her. I was messed up. Diddy, you wowed out on that one. You went too far on that. Shit.
Start to change a little bit. He came out with, an apology. Again, that stands in stark contrast to how aggressive his team was towards these women. And all behind the scenes, it's important to note that there's this agency that may not be a household name, but it's HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. It's an arm of the Department of Homeland Security. They specialize in human trafficking. They looked at these allegations and indicated there is a federal crime that's been committed here. And now we're seeing in this indictment, they allege multiple crimes.
Yeah, it sounds like the feds are just throwing the book at him. All right, guys. Kara, Josh, and Ellie, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Now, according to the indictment, the charges are sex trafficking, interstate transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering. So let's break all this down, okay? So the case is 100% about sex trafficking. Then also racketeering, which is running a business to fund the sex trafficking. So they are running their business. He's a mogul. He makes a lot of money. With that, he's funding the sex trafficking. So that goes into racketeering. And then the interstate transportation part is in regards of them paying for tickets to fly the women in and out of different states. That's what that falls into. This is nothing to do with drug charges nor distribution. So please go read the indictment letter yourself. It's online, it's public. Don't go just by what social media said. All those charges that you saw there at the end, that's just to make everything seem worse than it really is. Probably to scare his team. That way they, act on whatever they need to act. So let's end it on this note. Basically, what they are telling Diddy and his team is, listen, we don't want to grant you bail because you are a flight risk, right? He has money. He can find ways to get out. He has a lot of money, right? And we can give you life in prison for all these charges. So why don't you just take a deal to get a lower sentence? That's what I think. Those are my 2 cents on that. Again, I might be wrong. Just let me know in the comments what you think. Also, like and share the video. Subscribe to support the channel. And please have a blessed and exclusive day. Peace.